what do you see as the pros and what do you see as the cons to using no code solutions in your marketing?
Right. So to me, the biggest advantage of a no code platform or low code actually is the time to production. So you can very quickly build an MVP or like a prototype,
Mm-hmm.
and so that has a lot of value, especially in enterprise, for instance, where in order to get buy-in, you have to show something that kind of works. And so with no code and low code, you're able to show something that you can actually like use and show how like the workflow and the processes will work a lot better than like a prototype in Figma or something like that. So you can build those prototype a lot more cost effectively. I think that's one of the biggest advantage of no code. The second one is again autonomy, not being able to rely on developer, as you said, and essentially iterating on messaging a lot quicker. You don't need to. You can instantly see your changes and not just content changes, but also design changes, maybe even A/B testing things. And the last thing I think is cost. Again, like you're able to it kind of depends if we're talking about like a small like 5 pages website where like that's just is more than a prototype. You can actually go to production with a no code tool to build such small websites. So for many use cases and small teams, when you just kind of have a quick presentation of your business, but you're not really using your website as a core part of your business. You're not building a SaaS platform. You just want a presence on the internet. Then I
Mm-hmm.
think a no code tool is a good fit because it can be very cost effective. So those are to me like the main advantage for no code. On the other hand, I think there is a number of disadvantages, and the first one I think is technical debt, because as you build on top of a no code platform, there's a lot of chances that you're going to be stuck at some point, and you're in effect creating technical debt because you end up being so lock in into a platform that does not allow for much customization.
Mm-hmm.
So what you did not really anticipate lead to like that technical debt and then a costly shift for your business. So I see technical debt as a big of an issue. So customization is also like the big one. Um, there's a number of things you cannot do with a no-code tool, such as creating a like a programmatic way of creating new pages. Like today with like a CMS, you're able to essentially create a lot of pages really fast for SEO purposes. For instance, at Strapi, we see a number of our users creating those pages on the fly for SEO purposes, like those integrations pages or landing pages.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not really easily possible with a no-code tool. Uh,
Well, and you said something earlier that was, I think, really important, right? Like, um, if how you intend to use your website will say a lot about how you should go about building it, right? Like, if your intent is to just publish a brochure that's 2 or 3 pages, and you're not going to rely on it in your marketing mix or in your sales process, yeah, like Webflow is a great option. Like Wix and Squarespace and those kinds of tools can be perfect. But then if you're going to tackle SEO, or if you're going to really start to use your digital presence as a part of your brand and your go-to-market strategy and how you interact with your customer, there are still some nice things about iteration, quickly learning things, changing your messaging. But eventually, right, you have to migrate up. And I can you explain a little bit more about technical debt? Because I think that's something that a lot of people breeze right by, right? Like, because it's kind of you're basically saying that like a website is an iceberg, right? And what a lot of folks in the marketing world and business world are very focused on is that tip of the iceberg, right? And what's below the surface can be missed. And I think that's what you're really alluding to when you say technical debt. But when you say, can you just kind of maybe give us a little bit more information on what what in your eyes technical debt means?
Right. I mean, so technical debt, in my opinion, is happens when you quickly make a decision to go with a tool without like really anchoring around the use case and the requirement. And so you end up going with the platform, you develop on top of it, you spend a lot of time customizing it, and then you realize that you're just really trying to um, fit a triangle into a square, and that's when like you start like understanding that you probably chose the wrong tool, and then so you ended up building a lot of things that you're going to need to throw away, and that's what technical debt is when you just have a lot of code that is been built but is not going to be used in the end.